Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Q&A. Today, we'll be covering the topic of Black Friday email strategies for selling to the subscribers you already have. If you haven't already started thinking about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, right now is when you need to start. So with me, I've got Eric, our email and SMS marketing specialist, who's going to answer a lot of common questions that we get usually from clients or look for the businesses that we've worked with. So look, I think that I'll jump straight into some of the common questions that we have. If you do have any questions throughout, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll answer them as we go. So Eric, how do I avoid overwhelming my list during Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
Nice, great question. Thanks for having me, Tim. So, overwhelming list is the major problem when we're talking about Black Friday in email and SMS because uh, it's a very competitive time of the year, and users' mailbox are gonna be full of different emails, and the competition is so high. So everybody's blasting emails, and the email service deliveries are was well taken care, and their radar is up and going. So the most important thing is you have to communicate with people. Please communicate with your leads and your subscribers, since you have a great offer and you have a legitimate business. So whatever you build and offer, it's good for society because you exist. Otherwise, you wouldn't exist as a business. So because you have a nice offer, and it's the most important part of Black Friday is the offer. You have to build a compelling offer. And when I say offer, it's not one offer, it's a stack of different offers. So then you are relevant and have novelty during all the Black Friday period. But because you have that, you have to communicate for your audience, for society in general. Oh, okay, here's this mind blowing offer that's really uh, impossible to ignore offer. So first thing, build a very good offer. So now you have a legitimacy to communicate to the audience. Okay, we're offering this. This is very good for society. This is very good for you because of our product, our service. So it's going to be more affordable for more people. So this is the biggest reason for communicating in Black Friday is to delivering something that is that used to be a little more expensive, but now it's more accessible. And starting from that, what do you have to do? You have to divide and segment properly your audience. So the big sin, the big word, not go. No, the red flag would be, please don't send the same email for the same person. So avoid doing that. Avoid communicating the same, not just the email, but the same message to the same person. So if you have a big list, if we're talking about more than 20,000 leads, 20 or 50,000 leads, then you can send more emails. You can be more frequent. So the rule of thumb is frequency is what matters, and your frequency of emails and SMS depends on how big your list is. In order to not be communicating the same message for the same person again and again and again. So if you have lots and lots of leads, then you can communicate a little more. But make sure you don't communicate with the same person, with the same segment, with the same person more than twice per week, maybe 3 times per week for the beginning of the campaign, for the beginning of pre-Black Friday, from the warming up window, as we call it technically. And then during the Black Friday week, you can put a little more of frequency. And then for the Black Friday day, no more than 3 emails for the same
Okay.
person.
Okay, so say I think Black Friday this year runs for about, I think Black Friday, Cyber Monday, sort of like people usually start earlier as well. So let's just say over a 7 day period, say if you're an e-commerce brand for 7 days, how many emails would you recommend someone sending over that time?
Nice, great question. So let's divide into the stages, okay? So we have Friday, it's the day zero, I would say, for Black Friday. Then we have Cyber Monday on the next day. And the day before Friday, it's usually for American market, is a holiday. It's Thanksgiving Day. So you have to take that in consideration. So one week before, I would call it Black Friday week. It's a very important window of opportunity. It's when it's called high peak of sales. This window, this 1 week, 7 to 10 days before Black Friday itself. It's the high season. It's everybody competing. It's all the mailboxes fulfilled. So that's one of the most important parts when you have to communicate your offer. And then we have 1 week before that, or 10 days before that, from Valentine's Day. 11th. No, it's not Valentine's Day. Sorry, it's Veterans Day, 11th of November. Then it starts. So for the week, the Black Friday week, I would say, okay, if you have a e-commerce typical brand, communicate at least 3 or 4 emails in that week for the same person, for the same segment, at least that. And then for the Black Friday day, I would say 2 emails or 3 emails for this segment because of competition. So you have to send a little more emails, and it's the only part of the year that it's kind of allowed
Yeah.
because of all the novelty, all the lots, all the urgency. So team, I have to communicate you because in 2 hours our 50% off is gonna be off. So I have to move right now. This is why I'm communicating you. So this is how it makes so much sense communicating and intensity because of scarcity, because of urgency.
Yeah,
Right.
and I feel like, look, from experience with clients, I feel like everyone is very scared to send too many emails and like to think like, oh, I don't want to harass my subscribers. It's also important to understand during Black Friday, Cyber Monday that like there's a ton of emails going into that inbox. So when you're sending an email, that one email might be getting missed by the prospective customer there. So that's why it is important to send a bit more than what you usually would over that time.
Yeah, yeah, you have to remember it's always competition, and the competition is for everybody's competing for audience attention. So in those days, your competitors are gonna send lots of emails. So a way you can compete with them and keep up with them is just by sending the same or more relevant emails. But another way of doing that without overwhelming your audience is choosing wisely the moment you send it. So if everybody's sending 9 a.m., why not send it at 11 a.m. or even earlier, like 7 a.m. So sometimes for Black Friday, we're talking about, you can send in different times of the day because competitors are gonna send in those rush hours. So you gotta be wise and understand how your audience behaves. If you don't know it, just think of yourself, like how often I open my emails and what time of the day. And during Black Friday, how often do the emails come from me? And what is the time of the day I'm sitting and thinking about my life? It's a personal solution. If it's a personal solution, what time of the day I'm thinking about it, and am I close to my phone? I'm close to my computer, so I open it. And for B2B, it's the same, but then you can work on business hours, not weekends, of course.
Yeah.
But the key is understand human behavior and work accordingly, but always be aware that it's a competition. It's gonna be very intense, and you are allowed to be intense, and you can communicate as well. You can say, okay, here's the trick. If you can communicate it. One of the tactics we use, we always put a footnote, like a postscript note in the emails, saying, okay, if you don't want to receive more of these Black Friday emails, just click here. And then you feel free to communicate it more intensely for your audience because you're gonna give them a way to shut it down if they don't want it. So you always give the user the option. And how do you do it? If you have a fancy tool like HubSpot or MailChimp, you can track the clicks. So you put a link, and then they go to a simple page that says, okay, you're no longer going to receive the emails for Black Friday,
Mm.
but your lead keeps in your list. It's not an unsubscribe from all, so you can keep your lead and you can communicate in holiday
Okay.
seasons and the next seasons. But if you don't have a fancy tool like those, you can just put a link and then send to a Google form, and then in a simple Google form, they just confirm their email address and they hit OK, and then you put another message like, okay, you're not gonna receive those emails. So then you make sure you take all these leads and then you insert them as exclusion list, and you don't bother them with Black Friday emails anymore. So there's another tactics you use so you can intensify your communication, but not feeling guilty of being, boring and meaning, talking to all those people that they don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, no, look, that's interesting. I never thought of doing it that way with just an unsubscribe for Black Friday. Is it something that like is it something that you worry about is having unsubscribers? Like, for example, people that are sending out a lot of emails over Black Friday, Cyber Monday, a lot of the reasons they don't want to lose subscribers. How do you feel about the unsubscribers and unsubscribe rate? Because, I've connected with email marketing, like the platforms and the account managers there, and their opinions is always about like they don't care about unsubscribers because they think, look, they if it was an email that tipped them over, then they weren't that loyal of a customer anyway. What's your opinion on that?
It's simple. You have to take a very good close look on your subscribe rate. Then you ongoing, because it all depends on your behavior list. How those humans that are following you in your subscribing list, how do they behave? So if you have a rate of more than 0.5% of unsubscribers, there is a reach point here. It's measurable. So if you're having more than 0.5% or 0.5, 0.05%, less than 0.5%, actually 0.5%. If you have more than that, then you can lease your intensity and be more less intense, less frequent. But if you have more, actually, if you have less than that in the rate, it's fine. You can keep going on. So you take a look on that, but usually it's the time of the year that it's allowed to communicate even more. And at the end of that, you can also send an email saying, "Oh, I'm sorry for being so intense in those last days. You know, it's Black Friday. It's important for us. It's important for our audience." So it's a human communication. Like, you can be a little more expensive in a time, unless because you are communicating later on and say, "Okay, I'm sorry," and this also works. So my opinion is, allow yourself to be more intense because your competition is doing that. But make sure you do all the tactics and keep your both eyes paying attention on unsubscribe rate.
Okay, great. Good answer. I have a question from Cody here saying, what metrics should marketers focus on to measure real success beyond open rates?
Okay, beyond open rates, you gotta take a look on overall sales in Black Friday. And this answer goes, it's very specific depending on the type of business you are. So if you are e-commerce with a low margin, you gotta make sure you're making profit, because otherwise you're gonna kill your profit for what? For losing money in Black Friday, so you have more sales but you're losing money. So the point for e-commerce, you gotta take a look on average order for sale, average order, average order, average order for each client you're selling. How much is AOV, as we say it. But you also have to see the compound, the total amount of sales you're making, and gross sales you're making in Black Friday. And then if you understand your profit margin, then you apply the same result. So if you're making $1 million in sales, but your profit margin is 5%, you're in hot water. But if you're making like 100K, but you have 25%, it's a different story. So you got to take beyond open and click rates and unsubscribe rates, the basic things, the average order value, how much am I selling for order, for a click, for order, especially for e-commerce. If you are an SAS and B2B or even B2C SAS, then you can take a look on new subscribers, new plans I'm selling. For this type of business, I incentivize selling not a very inexpensive monthly fee, but 1 year pack, 2 years pack, so we can incentivize them. Okay, you can be with us for our service, for SAS service, for 2 years, and here's 30% off. But you gotta sign it today, and then you can do it in twice installments, or it's gonna be in one single installment. But make sure you couldn't put big rates of discount, but in bigger price tags. You see, so this is the way we defend our profit margin, especially for e-commerce. So level one, a beginner in Black Friday would say, okay, 25% site-wide or 30% site-wide. This is not the best advice I would give. I would give, like, pricing is very important in Black Friday. You have to be very strategic on your pricing. So I would say, instead of putting this type of offer, put an offer that is, if you buy more than $300, then you have 30% off. So now you're raising the bar. You're giving incentives to a bigger average order value, especially for e-commerce I'm talking now. So if you, instead of putting like 10% for $100 and spending on our site, put $300 as a mark, and then 30% or 25% even bigger. And I was saying in the beginning, the most important part for keeping your profit margins and keeping a Black Friday relevant for your business is to price accordingly, price very strategically, and having a great offer, and not just one offer, but lots. So if offer expires, you have an excuse to communicate even more. You can send more emails, send more SMS because it's about to expire. It's a 48 hours deal and it's going to expire in 12 hours. So I can send you a message. It's legitimate message, you know. It's not just me spamming you. I'm informing you. So you have to stack offers, and the different type of offers can be, you put a buy one get one offer. It's a nice one, BOGO we call it. So if you are high ticket service, you can do a Black Friday. People don't think about it as much, but you can defend your pricing if you have a dispositioning that you are market leader, you are high ticket value. So you can make a Black Friday instead of putting a huge markup discount like 20%, and then you won't build your positioning. You can put like, oh, for if you close with me for the next 10 days, this type of service that we used to make that costs 5 digits, that usually costs X, it's going to be for free. Like then we're talking about not numbers, and we're not talking about lowering my price bar and positioning me as a lower competitor, a lower provider. We're talking about this service. I charge it for $8,000, and if you buy with me, and if you close a deal with me, I give you for free. This is another approach you can do, uh, even in Black Friday season. So, of course, it's better for e-commerce. Of course, it's better for B2B, DTC brands, direct-to-consumer brands. But even in high ticket, you can make it.
Okay, great. Well, look, we have more questions in the chat. Before I get to those ones, I want to ask you, what are the common e-commerce pitfalls that you've seen in the years in the past and with Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
Oh, great. I think the most important would be for e-commerce. Uh, Put in a price tag, actually put in a discount that is too big, and then you destroy or you unbuild your own profit margins. That's a very common mistake. Another mistake would be you can train your audience and your clients as well, your customers, to always be buying in sales. This is another problem. So how do you do it? Uh, how do you prevent it actually? You use different, I'd say shorter times of discounts. So instead of making 2 weeks discount, you make 48 hours or 3 days period for discount eligibility. So this way you're not, it looks like, okay, I'm not gonna wait them to buy from them. I'm gonna buy from them. I'm going, me as a customer, I'm not gonna be reinforced in my behavior to buy only when it is a discount season. So you, it's a little, it's a, you have to be educating your audience that your value is very important, but for this season, I can release it. I can lower it a little bit, but it's gonna be over, and I'm not sure when I'm gonna do it back because otherwise they're gonna just buy it, and waiting for the next discount season. Another thing about email, people used to email for Black Friday. People use not to send emails for leads or subscribers that were buying from last Black Friday year because it's more than a 180 days mark. So there's this big idea that, oh, if it's 180 days or 6 months, not not interacting, not engaging in my emails, then I remove from my list. But for Black Friday season, it's nice if you communicate with those leads because they might, especially for e-commerce, it's people there, and these people might have the behavior of buying every Black Friday. So if they're not buying from you, they might buy from your competitor. So you, for this case, especially for this case, you can send emails from leads that are not engaging from more than 1 year, but because they have this behavior and it's a new Black Friday season. But again, it's not a type of customer that is going to raise your lifetime value. They're not going to be, probably not going to be long-time buyers, or don't expect them to cross-sell and upsell. It's a different behavior, but it's important to include them,
Yeah.
especially leads that converted, leads that you got converted, they got subscribed to your list 2 3 months before last Black Friday last year. So we're talking about like 400 days before today.
Okay. Nice. Good stuff. Another question from Cody. How can post-purchase or follow-up emails turn Black Friday shoppers into repeat buyers?
Oh, great question. That's the biggest game when we're aiming for long lifetime value, long time relationship. So the best way using email is to establish a connection, establish a relationship. So if they are past purchasers, probably they trusted you and you have a space in their heart, in their minds. So they're gonna be probably the best clients, the best customers for the next seasons, for the next sales. So what do? A very nice automation that says, okay, thank you for buying. And if you send this automation in the name of the founder, this is another tactics I like to use. So a welcome email from every acquisition during Black Friday, we change it for it's sent from the founder of the company, very personal, and say, okay, thanks for buying. If you buy any other thing beyond $100, $2,200, you get another discount of X%. It's a tactics I like to use. So because it's buying season, the psychology, the zeitgeist, everybody's thinking about, FOMO, I cannot miss this discount. So I'm allowing myself to buy this in the season. Use that in your favor to make another sell and another sell just after the sell you just made, especially for e-commerce. So for long term, like season, holiday season, and then the other seasons, you establish a relationship and you keep generating value in email, teaching interesting things. So if you sell, for example, gardening supplies, why not keep teaching them how to have a better gardening? And why don't you teach them how gardening is very good as a therapy session for you? We're not talking about having a beautiful house or a beautiful garden. We're talking about having your inner garden worked. So it's a therapy. So another thing that I like to advise clients for Black Friday, if you don't want to give a discount, a huge discount, you can make a BOGO, a buy one get one offer, but this offer could be a digital product as well. So let's say we sell this kit for home gardening and home gardening supplies. You can sell a kit, and for Black Friday, if you buy it during Black Friday season, you win a digital course that teaches you how to make a better gardening yard, teaches you how to make ikebana, that kind of, that, a very special thing in Japanese flowers you cut, or bonsai, something like that. So you can put another offer, a digital offer that has low cost, and you can make a partnership with a specialist, like an influencer, someone that is selling courses already. They can be a partner with you, and then you can offer a very entrance level course, like less than $100, $200 digital product for this. So there is a aggregate value, but it doesn't have for you actually costs, and then you have a compelling offer, and you can beat your competition. Your competition is offering 30%. Okay, everybody else is doing it, but I'm offering a $100 course for every acquisition for site-wide. This is a different level, but it depends on how you are positioned. So imagine you can sell dog supplies in Black Friday, but for each sale during Black Friday, you're gonna give a digital training on how to educate your dog and make your dog behave better. It's very relevant for lots of dog owners. So this is one of the ideas. You can build a compelling offer by giving also digital products as well, even if you sell physical products.
Okay, great. Well, I can see how passionate you are talking about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. This is the busy time of the year for you being an email SMS marketing specialist. We have another question in the chat. Do you, Eric, have any suggestions on effective subject lines so they stand out in the inbox? Do you use emojis? Do you not use emojis? Do you go caps lock? What do you recommend?
Let's say the level one would be emojis, but remember, everybody's going to use the exclamation point emoji. Everybody's going to use the alert emoji. What happens nicely is if you got to be clever and a little of a clickbait mindset. So I like to send emails like, oh, this is your order confirmation. Click here to see. And even if people didn't buy anything, they're gonna say, "Oh, what? What's going on? I didn't buy anything." And then you get an email open, and then you explain, okay, your order confirmation will be sent to you after you buy this. So it's kind of a clickbait mindset. It happens, but you also have to be always telling the truth, never lie. And if you put any information you put in your title, you have to deliver in the email body as well. So then it's connected. But this is the type of ideas I'd give you for a clickable title above the average. would be smart. You know, use these tricks. Like you can send email from a staff. It's sent from my staff saying, okay, here, Joanne, here's your discount for your discount code, especially for you for Black Friday, and make sure you use it before from Thursday to Friday, because before that it's not gonna be valuable. And no, actually, you send a discount code, pretending it's a discount code for someone else, and the email got for this person by mistake. And what happens? Human behavior, they're gonna say, okay, I'm gonna check if this discount code is gonna work for me as well. So it's kind of another trick, you know. And then this person go and try it, and see it works because it's a high discount. So it's another trick. So you don't need to lie, but you can, you know, try to use different clever ways to make people click on it. So one of the, being more concise in the answer, use these different uh, titles, like, oh, I did an order, why am I receiving a confirmation of order? I didn't order. And then you got clicks, you got opens. Another one would be these weird tactics. Another type of email title I like to use is something that it it requires some attention, like uh, I would say the way you start a story. Or the day I decided to open this business, or the day I decided suicide was not an option. This type of compelling titles as well get a lot of attention because they're different than all the exclamation points saying X% off 24 hours. This type of communication is going to be all over the mailbox. And then there is this very human communication storytelling, like the name of a chapter in a book. This type of emails titles get so much attention because they build a connection and they trigger curiosity. Another
Okay, so it's standing out from the rest, really, is what you're trying to do, and not just do the standard 20% off starts now type
Right.
of subject that's not
Yeah.
going to get opened.
Yeah, this type of communication, this straight to the topic, straight to the line, works really good in SMS because then people understand that they're driving, they're having their lives, not driving, but they're having their lives, and they see an SMS plug. How do you say when it appears? I forgot that word.
Notification.
A notification. Thank you. They see the push notification from an SMS. They see it is they understand in one line. Okay, 20% off, last day or 2 more days. This type of communication works really good in SMS.
Great. All right. Well, look, we're almost at time. So, Eric, thank you so much for joining me. If you could leave the viewers with one piece of advice for Black Friday, Cyber Monday that's going to stay in their heads over the course of the period and in the lead up to, what would that be?
It would be make sure you have a compelling offer, and it's not a single offer, it's at least three different offers, and you organize them into a calendar so they're gonna expire. Then you have more novelty and new excuses to communicate intensely with your audience. And make sure you communicate. Make sure you send those emails. Make sure you send those SMSs because your competition is gonna do. So don't hold yourself, and do it taking a look on unsubscribed rates, and you'll be fine. It's gonna be amazing.
Okay, great. Good stuff, Eric. Well, thank you again for joining me, and thank you for everyone that attended this live Q&A. Meet with us again in a couple of weeks where we'll have our next Q&A session. And until then, all the best. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.